Hey everyone, Jason Cotta here, Fishing Manager for the Orvis shop over in Bellevue. It's now November. We have a ton of chum salmon in the estuaries and making their way up the rivers. And I'm going to show you how to tie a Starlight Leech, which is a great pattern to use for those guys. You can tie this fly in a variety of colors. Chartreuse works great, pink, purple, black, all good colors. So the materials you're going to need, first off we need some hooks. This is our salmon steelhead hook, the 1645s. Tie these in a size 1 or a size 2. You're going to want some zonker strips, and this is going to be your tail. Some ice chenille or Estes works great, and we're going to use this for the body. Some pre-painted dumbbell eyes. These I use the 1/4 inch size on these. Adds a little weight, helps get that fly down. We're also going to need some saddle hackle, and I like to pick out hackle that's nice and long and really webby. It just wraps well. And last but not least, just some small ultra chenille, and we're going to use this for finishing off the head. As far as thread goes, I like to use our size G, the saltwater size thread. It's really heavy, you can really torque on it and not worry about breaking it. So that's the materials, but let's go ahead and get started tying this guy. Alrighty, so the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and give ourselves a nice little thread base towards the front of that hook, because we're going to want something to tie those dumbbell eyes on and get a nice base for that. So once I have my thread base there, I'm going to take a pre-painted lead dumbbell eye and just right behind the eye of the hook, back a little bit so you're going to have some room to tie off. I'm going to tie that guy in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make X-wraps over that, and then once I've made a few X-wraps, I'm going to go underneath and wrap that around just like I were tying a parachute. And what that's going to do is really help compress those wraps and keep that fly from rotating on the hook. Another thing you can do is just take a little drop of super glue and put that on top right there, and that'll help keep those eyes in place as well. So once I have those eyes in place, I'm going to move my tying thread to the back of the hook just before where that bend starts, and I'm going to tie in my tail. For the tail, I'm going to use a zonker strip, and I've pre-cut this so it's about the length of the hook shank. So I'm going to set that right on top and tie that in nice and tight. Make sure you get that in there nice and tight so it doesn't end up pulling out. Once I have that tied in, I'm going to take my ice chenille or some Estes, set that right on top, and get that tied in, and that is going to be my body. I'm going to end up wrapping this forward, so get that in there. Once you have that tied in, bring your tying thread not all the way up to the dumbbell eyes, but just a little bit behind them, and take that Estes or ice chenille, wrap that forward. With each wrap I make, those fibers that are pointing forward, I'm going to try to pull them back. That way I'm not wrapping over them. Make a bunch of wraps there so I have a nice full body. And once I get up to my tying thread, I'm going to go ahead and take that and tie it off. Alright, go ahead and trim your excess. Now I'm going to take some saddle hackle, and I've kind of pre-selected this, and you want saddle hackle that's nice and webby. So I'm going to take that feather, I'm going to trim off all the excess, all that fluffy stuff, and just leaving me the longer fibers there. Take a couple of those fibers, strip them off that main stem. That's going to make it a little bit easier to tie in. Now all these feathers have a natural curve to them, and what I want is that curve to be going towards the hook when I tie it in. That way as I wrap it, the natural curve will want to go back over the fly. So I'm going to tie that in. Make sure that's nice and tight. Alright. Then I'm going to take that hackle and wrap it a few times. And if any of those fibers are kind of stuck together, don't worry about it. We can tease them out later. Once I've wrapped that, tie that off, trim your excess. And now those fibers are kind of just bushy right now, but I want them folded back over the hook. So I'm going to take those fibers, pull them back, and wrap back on them just a little bit, just enough to get them to fold back over the body. All right. Once I'm done that, I'm just going to take some small ultra chenille in chartreuse, tie that in right behind the eye. Get that all nice and tied in. And I'm going to bring my tying thread to in front of those eyes. I'm going to finish off this head by using that ultra chenille. So I'm going to make a few wraps behind those eyes, and then I'm going to make a couple X wraps over the top there. Once I have those X wraps complete, just pull that chenille forward and tie that in. Tie that off. Trim your excess there. Cover up any of that, any of those fibers that are sticking up there, and then you can go ahead and whip finish this guy. Trim my tying thread. Take a little super glue and drop on that eye. Just help increase the durability of this pattern. So there you have it. Simple Starlight Leech. You can tie it in a couple different colors: pink, chartreuse, purple, black. They all work great. But spin a few up, go out, catch a few chum.